Prime Minister, welcome to Talk Asia. First of all, I'd like to start with current events. Obviously, your country is in the grip of one of its worst natural disasters. The floods are the worst for more than half a century. Now, there are still some areas, obviously, of Bangkok in the north, east and west that are still flooded. When will these waters completely recede, do you think?
I think in the overall should be before New Year, but by the time right now we try to work very closely with the way of the water management. So we try to drainage the water via on the east and the west side to the river. So this is the way that we try to manage this to less damage. And along the way, we also need to drain using some of the accelerate like pump water or do something make the canal is good for flow to the river. So this is a way that I think we tried. Some of the west side I think should be finished before New Year.
Now, Prime Minister, there have been some critics obviously, of the way that you and your government have handled this situation.
Yes.
Opposition politicians saying that you don't have the experience to deal with such a disaster, and the government at times has been very slow to respond or underestimated the disaster. How would you respond to that?
I think, in fact, that on the natural disaster, of course, that in terms of the positive will be difficult. I think I work almost around the clock, and I think this way that this time is the worst of the natural disaster in Thailand, and the case that happened about 27 serious of the flooding province. That means one third of Thailand. So of course that I think I have to apologize on inconvenience of the how we handle, because we in Thailand we never handle with this kind of crisis management before, and this level that I think we don't expect to get this problem. And since also the last point that since I took over from the office, the water already happened, and all the water in the dam level are already full. So that's why quite difficult to handle, but we will try by best to handle and to cope with all the problems.
If I can ask about your brother, the former Prime Minister, Thaksin Shinawatra. Now, he was ousted in a political coup 2006, currently living in Dubai after being sentenced to 2 years in prison for corruption. Did he have an influence on you when you were deciding whether to run for Prime Minister?
No. I think I have to run with my cabinet team, and all the situation in Thailand moving very fast. So if I'm not be by myself, so I can't run until now. So.
Critics have been saying that you are in this position of Prime Minister because of your brother. There have been critics who have said that he is pulling the strings from Dubai. What would you say to that?
Of course that we are in the free of democracy, so people can give their opinion, people can speak out. But for me, I still handle and I still be by myself to make decision for the country. And if I'm not be my handle and do as the leadership, so I don't think people will allow me to be that this position and get clear mandate from election.
Now, your business background is obviously very closely linked to your brother Thaksin. You were CEO of the telecoms company AIS, which Thaksin founded. You were director of Manchester City, the British football club, which your brother bought, and also CEO of SC Asset Corp, which is a property developer that Thaksin's children are majority owners in. Can you understand why people believe that you have not emerged from your brother's shadow, and how do you prove that you have?
One thing that I can't avoid the fact, because I'm Dr. Thaksin's youngest sister, so this is cannot avoid. But the experience in the past from the business, of course, that because I'm the sister, so it might relate. Some people might think related, but most of the people are in the public company. So I don't think all the shareholder will allow me if I just do for the family, because you also understand on the principle and everything that the good governance and transparency on the stock exchange company. So have to be professional enough to run the business.
There was speculation at one point that your government was considering putting Thaksin Shinawatра's name forward for the list of pardons that would be given by the King of Thailand. Now that hasn't happened. Did you consider it?
First of all, that case that I'm absent, so this is just the normal process that they are running every year, but people might criticize before the case happened, and I think the justice minister already has been announced officially, and since in the beginning doesn't have any my brother name list in the list, and of course that in the process must to be the committee, and the same way. Back to the principle, I won't do anything that illegal. I will do anything by apply with all the legal and apply with the rule of law. And the main important thing that I have to be fairness to everyone, not just only one person.
Piecing together a fractured society and reconciliation was one of the main pledges as well, and one of the reasons that you were elected. Obviously, that's no longer the main issue because of the floods. But how do you get back to trying to reconcile this country, which has been through so much politically over the past few years?
For reconciliation, we already endorsed the committee by Dr. Kanit Narakorn, who is the head that endorsed by last government from ex-Prime Minister Abhisit Vejjajiva. So he will run the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. So we'll wait for this result and this recommendation. And I won't involve in this case, just only get the recommendation and do the thing that government can support this committee to make sure that this committee has been neutral and fair for everyone.
Now, the Thai political scene has been unstable at best in recent years. There have been 6 prime ministers in 6 years. Do you think you can last longer than 1 year?
I think last long or not last long is depend on people who give me the mandate. I believe that Thai people will give me a chance to prove myself as the position of Prime Minister of Thailand, who get the clear mandate from Thai people.